Hi, Tony. Congratulations on the movie, which I watched very recently, which I
Oh,
really, really loved. I think it's such a wonderful little story and I was not expecting it to be that moving. Um, I suppose you have a production credit on this, so talk me through what made you want to make this.
yeah. I mean, it took us 8 years to get made, and Seth had this idea, and I don't know, I just loved how creative the concept was in dealing with kind of the story of grief that the family is going through. Um, and also I knew Seth's background of special effects because I was a big fan of his, and so I knew what he could do with the monsters, and that was exciting. But also I'm a girl dad. There's something called snowplough parenting where you want to remove the challenges from the path of your kids because you don't want to deal with stuff. And they have to walk through stuff. Like you have to allow them to feel stuff. And my dad in the movie really thought he was making the best choice of like, let's just compartmentalize the grief and move on. But she was the only one dealing with the feelings of it. And I don't know, I just really related to that as a dad. And so I was on board from the beginning, and it's been a real journey, lots of ups and downs, but to get it out there is like very exciting.
I saw that. I mean, I probably that doesn't really mean much for someone who, like you, who is mostly interested in making the film and sort of dealing with all that stuff. But I see that it's more than tripled its budget so far. A small movie like this, it's so exciting to see, especially nowadays with small movies like this. How does that make you feel?
It's great. I mean, I'm so grateful to, Angel we went to Toronto Film Festival last year, and there was a lot of people interested, and Angel really wanted to put it into theaters with a lot of spaces. And so we're so grateful it's getting out there. I mean, I'm probably the biggest fan of this movie because what Seth has done with it is so exciting. So the opportunity to get more eyes on it that's the most rewarding, honestly.
When you work in this kind of this kind of genre, obviously there's lots of CGI that's added onto it afterwards, and I actually was quite impressed because it felt more like practical rather than CGI. What are the challenges that you find with like basically acting in front of nothing sometimes?
Yeah, I have a history of like I did Alvin and the Chipmunks. I did Clifford the Big Red Dog. So it's like I was kind of used to acting stuff that wasn't there, but the responsibility is really on the director because he has to paint the picture for you. So he has to say, okay, so Dave in the movie The Blue Monster, he's about this tall. Everybody needs to look at this point. He's racing after you. So you really trust that, okay, so this is right. And he's like, yeah, good. And so that kind of partnership with the director is key. But it's just fun. It's just playtime and it's really exciting to see it come together. Like when the kids are running from the bus and Dave is right behind them running. I mean, it's just like, oh, that's very satisfying.
Uh, it's quite dark as well, I must say. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know you have kids, and are your kids still quite young? Would they have watched this already?
My daughter's 19, so she's a little older, but I would say probably I think the age is probably like 7 and up, because there are points that are scary, but I also remember as a kid, I loved Goonies. I
Yeah.
loved these movies that had kind of scary points in it, but that felt real to me, and also in this movie where, we're dealing with grief is kind of scary. There are points of it that are kind of scary. And so her monsters reflected what she was going through. And I love that connection.
I find that we don't really make movies like that anymore, where sort of there is the reality of death is represented in the kids' movies as well. Do you think we're losing a bit by not offering that side of thing? Are we mollycoddling kids a
Mm.
bit too much and just offering positivity, like extra positivity, without broaching any other negative stuff?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think so. And I think it's probably out of our fear. I can speak as a parent, because it's like, oh, I don't want them to have to deal with that or think of that. But in actuality, walking through it, feeling those feelings, talking about it, that's the healthy route. You know, when I was a kid, I had pretty big emotions and I was kind of like, am I the only one dealing with these huge emotions? And so my hope is when kids see this, they're like, "Oh, I'm not the only one." I've had some pretty big feelings because I've these kids go through a lot of stuff. Life is hard. And so to have kind of see a movie or have a dialogue with the parent to be like, I'm kind of having some big feelings and just to be understood. I think that's such a gift.
Mm. You mentioned Angel Studios just before that. Was this picked up after the movie was
Yeah.
made?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you said you had 8 years with it, and then was there a great difficulty in getting sort of getting it signed to a distributor in Hollywood? Was it difficult for you?
Yeah, I mean the independent film is definitely a challenge. It's such a gift when you believe in it so much because that gives you the longevity. But we made it thankfully John Irwin helped us fund it many to get it made. And then we went to Toronto Film Festival and had a lot of interest. And Angel wanting to put it in so many theaters. I mean, any director, writer, actor wants to get their movie seen. So just the opportunity to be seen in so many theaters was really attractive to us.
Yeah. I feel like I've been with Angel for a while now. I've seen like the majority of their stuff, and
Yeah.
it's been really interesting seeing them moving from kind of small subjects to more sort of universal subjects, and they could possibly be the next big studio. How does that feel for you working with them?
I mean, they've been so fantastic. They put money into getting the word out, which I'm really thankful for. They understood the movie, and they also wanted to, because most of their topics were very faith-based.
Yeah.
So they wanted to branch out. And I appreciate that. I mean, I even though this is not a faith-based movie, I think there's very strong messages of hope and truth in it. And to me, it is a family movie. It is something I hope families do see together and have dialogue about it.
Is there ever a worry on your side that you're going to be sort of, put in that kind of bracket of faith-based movies?
Mm.
Is it important for you to sort of say, look, this is it's a new studio that is trying out loads of stuff and possibly trying out also kids' movies and things that are uplifting rather than just faith?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in all honesty, I've done characters that, Arrested Development and Veep, which were very similar. And I think I've gotten that question before, like, are you worried about kind of being kind of typecast and stuff? Having gone through it, I'm so grateful for the gigs and I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I don't have as much worry about that. So like even the opportunity for Angel to put it out there, I just that's such a gift to have that resource. So I kind of don't let my mind go there because A, I can't control how people think about it, but I believe in it so much and the fact that it's getting seen, that's to me the reward.
You mentioned Veep there, and I half wish Veep was still going because of the stuff that's going on right now. And
I
like that
know.
is a treasure trove of episodes. How does
Yeah.
it make you feel? What kind of like memories do you have of that, of working on that for so long?
Such good. I actually had dinner with Julia about a week ago and I don't know. We just rehash fun, and I actually have all the gag reels saved on my Dropbox, and so as like my own medicine, I'll go back and watch those blooper reels because I just remember such good times. It's really interesting that a lot of people have come up to me, and during this kind of very divisive political season we're in, they'll watch Veep because they feel a permission to laugh, where they don't feel that permission to watch the news because it's real but it's almost like they can get their laugh out on Veep. And I love that. Like that's the medicine right now that I think we need just to kind of, laugh about it.
Another series that I am an absolutely massive fan of is Arrested Development. Obviously, I mean, I think I said that to you last time we spoke, even if you don't remember. And I just think that it is just one of the greatest comedy series. Can we hope to see you in another comedy series soon at all, do you think?
I would love it. I just shot a pilot for Hulu called Don't Get High, where I play a really fun security guard. And it was developed by Megan Gans, and I don't know, I had a blast. I mean, comedy in general is so fun. Um, but also working with comic actors like Darcy Carden, who was my sister on Sketch. Her and I have been in the comedy circuit for a long time, and so just to like, even though it's a drama, like there's a language that you speak together that's just fun to work with. You get the same jokes, you can play around, and it's a nice retreat.
Just going back onto the movie, just to leave on the idea of the movie, I was just thinking that you have a great cast of kids. They are absolutely brilliant. What was it like working with them?
Just like, here's the thing, they're just like good kids. I mean, in addition to being really talented actors and very organic, they're just good kids and they're with good parents. And, as you know, like independent film, you got a tight budget, you don't have much time. So everybody needs to kind of bring their A game and good attitudes. And these kids had the best attitudes. And I was like, that's not always the case. So I was really grateful for that. Super grateful.
And finally, what kind of message do you wish people would take from this movie and from the story, really?
I mean, I kind of going back to like, I do hope parents give themselves a break when they see it. Like, yeah, we all make mistakes. We're all just working this out. Because my character really thought he was making the best choice, and then he realized, oh, that was a mistake, and he apologized to his son. And I just love that honesty. And then kids, when they see it, it's like, oh, maybe I'm not the only one that's dealing with these huge feelings, because kids are going through so much nowadays. And that comes with some pretty big feelings, so that they just don't feel maybe so alone.
Brilliant. Thank you, Tony. That's really fantastic to be speaking to you again. I get a huge fan of yours and everything
Aw,
you've done. So thank you so much.
taking
Congratulations
the
on
time.
the movie.
Keep the clouds. The clouds are very peaceful.
I know, I like them.
I like them. Keep them.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey,